Where'd he go? Amen. It is you. Can I quote your last piece quickly? He appeared last time I hosted with his brother. And his brother told this incredibly moving story about coming to Canada and dealing with hardships. And one of the first things this gentleman said when he came on, he said, I think it's wonderful that the spoiled one in the family comes on stage and talks about hardship. And he said it cuttingly and with a great deal of love at the same time. This gentleman is going to tell you everything about his life. He has performed here on numerous occasions. I've introduced him on numerous occasions. He is my favorite person to watch on video because his timing is perfect. For some reason, when he makes a point, whoever's running the switcher always switches at the right point, and I think he knows it instinctively. So, be good. Ladies and gentlemen, amen.
One more time for Mike, everyone. Now, Frank and Amy, your stories magically tie into what I have to say. So, watch. Good evening, everyone. I am a superhero. I know what you're thinking. What kind of stupid superhero tells you they're a superhero? What are your powers? Where's your costume? My power is that I love running. Running is my superpower. I can go run for hours, which normal people prefer not to do. I was talking to Dex one day, and he was telling me about how he found this trail right here in Hamilton, and I got so excited to go out and try it. It was like 10 kilometers in, and I loved every minute of it. Now, one more thing you need to know about me is that I've run races in so many countries. I've run in Malnitz, Austria. I've run in Kuwait. I lived there. Be quiet. I've run in Thailand. I've run races in Malaysia. I've run races in Bahrain. I've run races in the US. I've run races in Canada. And I lived in Kuwait, so I ran there a lot. But the one thing I'm most proud of that I did in Kuwait is this. So I was telling a story last time I was here about a friend of mine called Yusuf and how he had a running company and we were friends and then we were enemies and then we became brothers. He had an invitation-only race called Run Kuwait, where you run from the north to the south of Kuwait. And I'd been applying to join this race since it started. And of course, they never chose me. I blame racism. But then, fortune smiled upon me twice in 2017 when and I really need to be careful about the order I say these, when my son was born and when I got accepted to run this race. Now, unfortunately, those two things were conflicting. So even though I was selected to run this race, I almost had to give that up. But Yusuf wouldn't let me. He said, I'm sure you will find a way to do it. The race was going to happen in April. My son was born in April. My son was born on April 4th. It's very important to note the number 4. My son was born on April 4th. I did this race in Kuwait in February. Now, I didn't do it from north to south, so the shirt is a bit of a lie. But what I did was I worked the distances that the race is supposed to be done into my regular working week. So I would finish work at 4 p.m., and I would run 40 kilometers. And then I go home. And then I go to work the next day. And I run another 40 kilometers. And then I go home. And then the longest day was 85 kilometers. And I can tell you the most interesting stories about, because the day I chose to run it was Kuwait's Liberation Day. Amy, I lived in Kuwait, where your friend was telling you about Iraq. I lived through the Gulf War. And what they do to celebrate their independence and the end of that war is that they used to throw water balloons at each other on the longest stretch of road that is on the beach there, the Gulf Road. So I was running down that. I got bombarded with water balloons. And I can tell you the exact way that rubber smells in the heat of February because I was just like dying to get across. But now, that was one time that I did something that was, tremendous, 220 kilometers, until I moved to Canada. And if some of you have Netflix, I highly encourage you to search for a series called Losers. You will see an episode called Lost in the Desert about a man who went to Morocco to take part in what is known as the toughest foot race on the planet, the Marathon des Sables. Believe it or not, people actually pay money to go run in the desert. You run over 6 days, and you need to carry your food on your back. They only give you 5 liters of water a day, and that's water you have to shower with, drink, cook your food with, all of it. And I signed up for that race. I signed up for the Marathon des Sables in 2026. It happens in April. This race started in 1986. And guess who else started in 1986? You. I will be celebrating turning 40 in the desert of Morocco. And what makes it even more interesting is that I am the 4th one of my friends to do this race. Yusuf was first, Muhammad al-Matar was second, Christine Kreta was third, I'm number 4. And when it comes to Egyptians who have done this race, look, I did my research because I'm all into data analytics. I pulled out every single person that ran this race from 1986 until 2025. Do you want to guess how many Egyptians have run the Marathon des Sables?
500? Oh, just your people. The ones you know.
You're number 4.
So I am number 4. So the way I see it is, I was meant to run this race in 2026. And on the other things about running that it puts you in very uncomfortable situations, I'll leave you with a laugh. I went to get a massage because I've been running so often that my legs hurt. But I'm not okay paying the prices that you guys pay here for massages because that's insane. So I went on the marketplace to find a device that would massage my legs. I found a person, and this person lived 500 meters from my house. So I go there, and of course I'm worried.
I'm worried.
I told my brother, the other brother, that this is where I'm going to be, here's the address, here's the mobile, here's the number, my session is for 1 hour, you call me 15 minutes afterwards. If I don't answer, call the police. And nothing tells you that this meeting is going to go awkwardly than when you walk into a stranger and the first thing they tell you is, please take off your clothes. You're definitely paying for something you should not be. Ladies and gentlemen, I've been Ayman Nassar. Thank you so much.
A gentleman never tells. One more time for Ayman, please. Two things. Firstly, I think that's incredibly brave. And secondly, you're crazy. In that order. But go for it. I think you can get an amazing story out of that. I can't follow that. That's just incredible, the idea of doing that. And happy 40th. Happy upcoming 40th, of course. I'm also celebrating my 40th birthday. I'm not having it. I'm past 40. I just celebrate the idea. stay at home, drink, stare at the walls. That's another story. The next person I'm going to introduce is